guess that's likely, although...
What is it?
I've seen enough over the years to make me believe the curse is real. If Matthew Hayers possessed someone, he wouldn't just trap us somewhere.
Are you saying the saboteur has to be someone in the inn? Wouldn't we have noticed what they were doing?
Would we have? We were so anxious to escape, I can barely remember any of it now.
I suggest we all sit down and talk this over calmly. The best thing we can do is keep an eye on one another until morning comes.
He walks to the inn's common area and sits down. After a moment, the rest of us do the same. I don't like being trapped here, so really a chance one of us did it on purpose? Why, we all just look at each other.
I think it's... Willow.
What?
You're always denying the curse, and you're the one who noticed Vinny's car.
Oh, Ma, that's right. If Willow hadn't noticed the car, we wouldn't be in here at all. That's hardly evidence.
It isn't perfect, but I must admit, more evidence points toward you right now than to anyone else.
This is unbelievable.
Are you going to kill me?
No!
Lies. I know you are. I've always known I'd die this way.
Now calm down. No one needs to die.
It's starting to play out the same way.
What do you recommend we do?
Nothing.
Sorry, what?
If no one tries anything, nothing needs to be done. As long as we keep an eye on each other for the rest of the night, nothing can go wrong.
I'm certainly not going to try anything.
Joseph glances at me.
Don't worry, Officer Mike is right. With all of us together, Willow couldn't do anything, even if she is possessed.
Okay. I believe you.
Okay, that was slight chance, because I think or I should say I think originally he just went for the kill. I think I actually got through it to him.
I hope everyone is comfortable. We're gonna be sitting here all night long.
With that decided, our long night begins.
If you need to sleep, don't worry. I'll be able to stay up all night long by myself if necessary.
That doesn't sound ominous.
Oh no! No way am I going to sleep when there's a killer among us! I won't risk being the one killed!
No one is going to kill you.
Of course not, because I'm going to stay awake all night so they don't get a chance.
Man, you people make me nervous. I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight either.
We make you nervous? You're the outsider here.
And do you have any idea how you come across to a stranger?
Let's not start fighting now that we finally agreed to settle down and wait for morning.
What are we going to do then? We can't just sit here staring at one another all night long.
We could tell stories.
Stories?
Sure, something to keep ourselves distracted so we don't fall asleep.
I can't say I'm quite in the mood for stories at a time like this.
It might help, it's better than just doing nothing. But right now they're all alive. None of them are dead, okay? Joseph didn't kill Willow. Willow's obviously there. No one's accused of anything, so everything's going fine.
How?
They'll give us a way to pass the time and keep ourselves from worrying too much.
I doubt that will help under the circumstances.
Maybe ordinary stories won't help, but wouldn't it be good to get to know each other better? We hardly know anything about Katie and Vinny after all.
It's so suspicious that we'd get two outsiders on Halloween of all days.
For crying out loud.
Ugh, I wish I'd come on a different day.
This is probably giving you a pretty bad impression of our town.
To move into a new place and immediately be told there's a curse on it, and then for all of this to happen next? You could say that, yeah. It's been quite an experience.
You should have known better than to move here on Halloween!
I wish I've known.
Would you have stayed if you had?
At the very least, I would have waited to move in.
No one would have blamed you if you chose not to move in at all.
Have none of you thought of moving away?
But it's a home!
Maybe I'll leave if I survive tonight. I can't take much more of this.
Yeah, I imagine this would wear on you, year after year.
Why did you move here anyway?
It seemed like a nice town, and I got a good deal on the house.
Are you sure it wasn't the curse drawing here? Maybe Matthew Hare wanted as many potential victims around as possible.
Jesus is like, Willie, dude. Just suspicion around the room.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. Everyone knows he only has powers on Halloween.
What if we're wrong?
Huh?
What if he pretends to only have power on Halloween, to lull us into a false sense of security the rest of the year?
Now, that's just crazy talk.
I wouldn't put anything past him.
Why are you so convinced that the curse is real anyway?
Because there's evidence!
Shut and close his eyes.
I was here another Halloween, years ago when I was a teen.
What happened?
Everyone was evacuating, but I didn't understand. I thought it was a game, like it would be fun to sneak back against the rules. It was just something people were telling me not to do. How was I supposed to know it was this serious?
Calm down.
Sorry, I just...
Are you saying your family evacuated, but you snuck back into town?
That's right, and I saw...
Shudders.
A few people stayed behind. One was hunting the others with a butcher's knife. I don't know what happened next. I ran. I tried to forget what I saw. The next day we came back home. I didn't want to, but I had no choice.
He stares past his eyes wide.
Someone died. I heard them talking about it, and I knew. I knew what I saw that night was...
Far side with a nice shadow.
What happened was terrible, but it doesn't mean there was a curse.
Of course you'd say that! Of course you would!
I believe there's a logical explanation for everything.
Like what?
People become dangerous when they're afraid. The curse fuels paranoia, which leads people to do desperate things, which in turn causes more paranoia and fear of the curse.
You think it's a cycle, feeding on itself?
Actually, honestly, that does seem like a logical explanation. I mean, he did say, hey, before he died, he said that he was going to seek his revenge on Halloween, and that could have caused people to be scared and give him fear, and then give paranoia, and it could have caused an endless cycle.
Exactly. Well, that still means it's dangerous to be here on Halloween.
A self-fulfilling prophecy.
Doesn't that mean we could overcome it if we all work together?
That's what we're trying to do right now.
I know, but... next year, it'll be the same thing. It'll never stop.
That's the curse of Matthew Hare.
Curse or not, I suppose he got his revenge, didn't he?
What do you mean?
Terrible things have happened in this town. One wrong move could have led to a tragedy here tonight. In the end, does it really matter if the cause was supernatural or not?
Yes, it does.
Maybe not. Dead is dead, whether the killer is possessed or just misguided.
I'm not sure that's the best attitude to take.
Why not?
Someone who is possessed can't be held responsible for their own actions. It's an important difference.
I'd say someone driven by unreasoning fear isn't entirely in control either.
That's why we need to break out of the cycle.
She's got me thinking. Like, she said that was a good thing. Like, if it's just inevitably in a cycle, it's also possible that the curse existed, but he said he would give us revenge for Halloween, and it just so happens the people that murdered him ended up dying. So what? He always got his revenge. So it's possible because of this one moment, it turned into just never in the cycle.
It will work.
Do you really believe that?
I do.
It'll never end. This isn't enough, not even close.
Well, whether we successfully break the cycle of fear or simply avoid falling prey to a curse, it doesn't change the fact that we'll be staying here all night.
So, how about those stories?
You still think that's the best way to pass the time?
Well, it might ease the tension a bit. We ought to learn more about our two newcomers, if nothing else, just like Officer Mike said.
You want to learn about me now?
Why not? Especially since you'll be leaving once this is over, so we'll never see you again.
Pretty shrugs looks right at the rest of us.
What do you want to know?
What brings you to these parts?
Just passing through. I was on a trip for work until this morning. I had to travel across the country, so I was just on my way back when I stopped here.
What do you do?
I work at a grocery store chain. They send me out to inspect the stores all across the country.
I would not have guessed that.
I mean, yeah, I really thought, considering that he carries a gun and and all that, I kind of assumed it was something a lot bigger.
Figures.
Seems like he's mad at me on that one too.
He could be making it all up.
Well, at least it makes for a good story in that case.
You people are something else, you know that?
Did you say you have a family waiting for you?
Yeah, that's right.
It must be rough to be away from them for so long.
It's not great, but I try to make up for it.
Reaches to his coat and everyone's inches.
Relax, would ya?
So he puts out two cardboard toys. One is the shape of a cat while the other is a bird.
I try to get unusual things from wherever work takes me. It's not the same as me being home, but at least I have something nice to look forward to.
That's really sweet.
If Vinny is telling the truth, then I hope we all survive the night so he can get home to his family.
Personally, I'd like us all to survive even if he's lying.
Oh, of course. I didn't mean...
She waves her hands.
It's just so incredible to think we might actually survive the curse without evacuating.
You firmly believe in the curse, don't you?
There's so much evidence supporting it. I don't know how anyone cannot believe it.
We just went through this.
Literally.
The curse is part of the town's history. There's no denying that.
It's a rather ghastly story, too.
I think it's quite sad.
Sympathy for the ghost who wants us all dead. Why am I not surprised?
Anyway, you can talk about logic all you want, but if paranoia was the true cause of the curse, wouldn't people have figured that out by now? It's gone on too long to be that simple.
I will say that, but they've only evacuated for 10 years, so that's still like 160 or so years that they have not. So they would have already noticed it. Because they don't always evacuate at the time. They evacuate like the last 10 years.
Length of time is not enough to prove that a curse exists.
But people are curious. By now, someone would have disproven it.
You see? All the evidence is in favor of the curse.
What do you think, Officer Mike? You've been around here long enough. Is there a curse, or isn't there?
Huh. You know, it's hard to say.
How?
I've read reports that defy explanation, but I've also found that seemingly supernatural things often have a logical answer, no matter how strange they seem. Yet at the same time, I don't want to rule anything out.
Do you think someone here is possessed?
I think we'll have our answers in the morning.
That's right. Whoever's possessed won't remember tonight.
That'll be a relief to settle this once and for all.
Unless the possessed person is someone we don't know is here, just waiting and watching us.
Now there's a horrible thought.
All the more reason to stay awake then.
Right.
With that, conversation lowers. Time passes slowly. I can't bring myself to relax, and it's clear everyone feels the same way. Everyone seems was too on edge. Night deepens, and I start to get tired.
Remember, if you need to sleep...
Stop saying that! It becomes less reassuring the more often you say it!
I'm just trying to help.
We could go back to telling stories.
Why do you keep coming back around to that?
Frank shrugs.
I like exchanging stories with people. It's nice. Reminds me of the good old days.
Do you have a story to share with us then?
Uh-huh.
He wipes his chin as he thinks, then clears his throat.
There was a butterfly that lived on the edge of a lake. The butterfly woke up each morning and looked at its reflection in the water. It knew that the color of its wings made it beautiful.
He says back to share as he tells his story.
One day, when the butterfly was staring into the lake, a fish leaped out of the water. The butterfly was startled and flew back in fear, but the fish was merely playing. As it watched, the butterfly became enamored of the fish's beautiful, shimmering scales.
Was it that beautiful? It's just a fish.
Shh, let him tell his story.
From then on, it became a routine. Every day, the butterfly looked at its reflection in the lake. Every day, the fish disturbed it, and the butterfly admired its scales. Why do my wings not shimmer in the light? The butterfly asked itself in frustration. Why could I not have been a fish?
A butterfly is way prettier than a fish.
Ahem. The butterfly grew to hate its colorful wings and envy the fish. At last, one day, it devised a plan. It would steal one of the fish's scales for itself, and then it would be beautiful.
This isn't the turn I expected the story to take.
And so, when the fish leaped from the water, the butterfly landed on it. The startled fish could do nothing but return to the water as usual, and the butterfly crashed down with it. The water seeped into its beautiful wings, and although the butterfly tried to claim a scale, its waterlogged wings dragged it deep underwater.
Frank closes his eyes and takes a deep breath before finishing the story in his somber voice.
The butterfly's last thought was not one of regret, but one of resentment at the fish for causing its demise.
That was butterfly effect. Literally, that was really dark actually. Science fiction room. Alas, Joseph breaks it.
Thanks for lightening the mood.
That's what we're gonna say. Really should pick a story in a situation like this. That was just dark.
What? What did I do?
Should have picked a more upbeat, like happy story.
That wasn't exactly a happy story, Frank.
It's not meant to be happy. It's meant to be meaningful.
Meaningful?
Everyone's against greed. Everyone's against envy. He did say envy, so.
True. The butterfly was pretty envious of the fish, wasn't it?
The butterfly was beautiful too, but it couldn't stand the knowledge that the fish was more beautiful. It felt like it had to be the best, no matter what the cost.
We should all remember that everyone around us has their own hopes and dreams. If we were more considerate of others, maybe things would go better.
I still think it was a terrible story to tell under the circumstances.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's an old favorite of mine.
We know you meant well.
Science festival once again. The time seems to pass so slowly I look out the window and wonder how long it would take for more to come.
So, do you know any happier stories, Frank?
Everyone looks at him.
It just might not be such a bad way to pass the time after all, okay?
I have a few.
For that matter, I know some stories I could tell.
Well, I don't have much experience with storytelling, but I could try to tell one of my favorites.
I tell my kids stories, so I've probably got 1 or 2 memorized by now.
If everyone is doing this, then I can give it a try.
Why not? We have a lot of time to pass.
The show tonight wears on as we exchange story after story, waiting for morning to bring us the truth of the curse. Morning arrives, we're still alive. I can hardly believe we all made it. Okay, so one where they all live, actually. But the arrival of morning, everyone else begins to return to town. Soon they're able to break us all out. Getting into the fresh air again is relief. I take a deep breath and let it out.
We're alive. We're all alive!
I'm so glad.
Frank, how you holding up? Is your leg feeling better?
I need to go to the doctor, but I'm doing all right.
Looks like I could finally move on. It's been fun, but I'm out of here.
Wait just a moment. Please. All of you.
What is it?
From what people have been saying, is it true that we all remember what happened yesterday?
Sure, why?
The legend claims the person who was possessed doesn't remember what happened.
You're right, and we never did figure out who it was.
I remember everything. I was scared to death.
I was quite frightened as well.
I'm just glad to be out of there.
I thought for sure I'd doomed myself, getting stuck here on Halloween.
I remember everything that happened.
You see, none of us were possessed after all.
Wait a minute. Why would Matthew Hayter just skip a year?
Because there is no curse. There never was. It was all in our minds.
You know, that makes a lot of sense.
I don't know. I'm still leaving next Halloween.
Something object on the ground catches my attention and I hurry up over to it.
My keys. Could I really have just dropped them?
Look over there! Those tacks on the ground. I must have run them over in my car. That's what happened to my tires.
Bet I'll find out the doll was an accident too.
Well, it looks like this wasn't such a terrible Halloween after all.
I hear you all got trapped in town on Halloween.
That's right. But we all survived.
How did you manage that?
No one was possessed.
Seems like your curse is just the result of coincidence and paranoia.
Hang on, are you two visitors? Well, you must have had some awful bad luck to choose our town to pass through on Halloween.
Oh, wait. We met him and he already knows we're visitors, but he acts like he's never met us. He's never met anybody that didn't meet Katie.
Tell me about it.
I'm not a visitor. I just moved into town. We met yesterday.
He was possessed.
We did? That must have slipped my mind.
Anyway, I'm off.
I have some work to catch up on.
Oh, me too. Losing a whole day is so inconvenient.
I'm just glad I don't have to file all the police reports I was expecting.
I've got to find someone to fix this door.
It's over. It's really over? I think I'll go say some prayers.
Looks like everyone's leaving. I guess I'll finish moving in. Head back towards my house feeling like weight has been lifted from my shoulders. This is my new home after all. Now that we don't have to worry about a curse, I think I'm going to like it here. Okay. Survive. So, okay, one of the good news rule, everybody survives. Now, what they didn't know is I really think the maid was possessed because he doesn't remember. I think that might have been it. He doesn't remember at all. So maybe he was. Maybe none of those people were possessed, but somebody was possessed. So that was much.
Did I really meet that young woman
Oh.
yesterday? The stress of Halloween really gets to me. My memories are always such a blur. It's almost as if... Nah, can't be. Still, though, I really can't remember anything that happened.
I like that little. I like that. Okay, so it made it seem like there wasn't a curse. It was all in their mind, but there really is a curse. A curse really is a demon there. There's none of them were possessed. Okay, so let's say continue. I made 7 saves, but let's go to this one.
That's right. Convincing ourselves fear was the only enemy here would be playing right into Hayer's hands.
Then, shouldn't we be looking for a way to break the curse?
Do you think it can be broken?
I'd like to believe so.
If it was that easy, someone would have done it by now, and we wouldn't have to go through this every year!
It's possible they missed something?
There will be plenty of time to look into ways to break the curse after tonight. For now, we're stuck here together.
So, how about those stories?
You still think that's the best way to pass the time?
Well, it might ease the tension a bit. We ought to learn more about our 2 newcomers, if nothing else.
Let's try to see what I
just
can do,
like
Skip.
Officer Mike said.
Got any changes to dialogue?
Anyway, you can talk about logic all you want, but if paranoia
Not
was
if you wish I
She's
could.
right. Any year where you escape the curse does nothing to disprove its existence.
So you'd have us all sit around waiting to die instead of trying to get away?
Calm down. We're sitting here precisely so that we don't die.
What do you think, Officer Mike? You've been around here long enough. Is there a curse, or isn't there?
Huh. You know, it's hard to say.
how?
I've read reports that defy explanation, but I've also found that seemingly supernatural things often have a logical answer, no matter how strange they seem. Yet at the same time, I don't want...
Meaningful?
Exactly right. If the butterfly hadn't been staring at its reflection all day, it never would have seen the fish.
And if it wasn't so obsessed with being beautiful, it could have been content with its own wings.
So maybe if each of us stops worrying so much about ourselves, we'd be better off for it.
I still think it was a terrible story to tell under the circumstances.
Why?
Okay, looks like
It's over. It's really over? I think I'll go
I didn't mean to do that. Ignore that.
say some prayers.
Okay, so it looks like that this plays out the same way. Okay, so right here.
Actually, I think Frank makes a good point. If we get to know each other, I'm sure we'll all feel a lot better.
But we all know each other, except for Katie and Vinny.
Then maybe it'll help clear up any lingering doubts about them.
It's so suspicious that we'd get two outsiders on Halloween of all days.
For crying out loud.
Ugh, I wish I'd come on a different day.
You should have known better than to move here on Halloween!
Do you mean that knowing about the curse wouldn't have made any difference to you?
Yeah, if someone told me the town was cursed and everyone evacuated on Halloween, I probably would have laughed it off and moved in anyway.
You should take these things more seriously.
At least I would have been prepared for it, though, instead of being blindsided by it when I arrived.
Why did you move here anyway?
It seemed like a nice town, and I got a good deal on the house.
Sure,
That's why you need to break out of
yeah,
the circle.